Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start lesson two. And as you know me, my name Anjum Satha. Please, if you have any question, drop me email. Last lesson we discussed about LO1, learning outcome one. Today lesson we'll go through learning outcome three. And this lesson will look, the key element under the LO3. So plus please, anybody any question before starting our lesson? Yes, yes, no, no. Anyone? Okay, we'll start then. Okay, so last lesson we discussed about literature, about managing successful project, and we last lesson we cover LO2, which was about literature. Today lesson we will go through LO3. Okay, just 1 second. I'll share with you in a minute. Welcome. Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start lesson three. So last lesson one, we discussed about aims and objective. Lesson two, we discuss about literature review. The lesson will go through our LO3, which is about how we can communicate the result of the project. Okay, so today lesson will be focused on how we can communicate the project result to the various stakeholders. Stakeholders mean anyone who has any interest, So we can draw the conclusion and we can present the finding. That will be the key. So draw the finding can be based on different statistic tools, conduct a project as stated within the project management and communicate the finding, present the data to draw the valid and the meaningful conclusion and recommendation from the data analysis. That's the key which we can look around the conduct business project as stated within the PMP project management and communicate the finding and present the data to draw the valid, meaningful conclusion and recommendation. So we have P6 and P7 to assessment criteria, conduct and present. Okay, so data collection technique, primary and secondary data. Primary is the first-hand information, secondary is the published information. the information is available on the public domain, which we can look around. The sampling is a probability and non-sampling, non-probability sampling. We can look around the ethical issues, inform the consent and voluntary presentation, confidentiality of the data. Always keep in mind, before you present the data to the public, the stakeholders mean anyone who has any interest in the data is called a stakeholder. So type of the data analysis, qualitative and quantitative. Anyone says what we know about qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative is mean opinions and quantitative mean the numbers. Like 10, 15, like means, mode, median, these are the numbers. Okay, data analysis. A common mistake made by the student researchers is to see the data analysis as a part of doing research. I will be worried about when I have some data. What will do? I won't know how to analyze until I see my data. Data analysis, you choose the data analysis technique. Like you have a lot of data, let's say now how many you collected the data, and you want to be look around like you have the data and the people tick, I belong to this age group, that age group. You can add them all the different age groups, yes, and look around how much sample size you divided, get the mean, median, mode, yes, most of, which so the data you can present in even in the graph. We can use this SPSS software, which is called statistics. Is a software which is published and developed by IBM. Do we know IBM, International Business Machine? And the software is called SPSS. It's quite good to use. Okay, our Excel can be used. Okay, so we can look around quality analysis. You can conduct depends on the choice and design of the research method. Remember the key points. You can only analyze what the data you collect. You can only analyze the based on the form of the data is collected. Okay, so few types of the data. Descriptive, drive the meaning from the data analytics. Predictive, outcome of an events which is might occur in future. Prospective, which is action to be taken. Diagnostic, finding the reason, and outcome, the data driven decision. Example of the trend, trend analysis, sale trend, like, which month is the sale going? Yes, which month is going? Are the seasonal variation, which we can look around what is happening, how in this if the data is changing in different seasons. So we can look around in different areas, in different. So this is one of example of the trend. So this can be if the data is a publication, one use it. So we can say this is the secondary data. Quantitative data, the key consideration of the quantitative data analysis. What are the research question, objective? What key variables are you interested in? Relationship are between variables. What are the most significant findings that you wish to present to readers, and how can they display the most effective impact? Quantitative data analysis, the key consideration for the quantitative data analysis. What type of the data will you have? Yes, could the cross tabulation be used? Answer your research question and answers. Okay, guys, let's look, these key points and then we'll discuss. Okay, guys. So we can look around the different types of data. So key consideration, quantitative data analysis. We can look around the cross tabulation, descriptive statistic might be used. Do you want to test the statistical significance? Do you want to carry out the hypothesis testing? Do you want to measure the relationship between variables and correlation and regressions? That can be used. Okay, so we can look around the raw data from the survey, like this is a lot of data there, males, females, and then based on this, you can draw the conclusion. How many males, how many females? For example, using SPSS software, quality of the information sharing, level of information sharing, and strategic supplier partnership. So like a supply chain, that's which we can use the data. Example of analyzing using SPSS, so we can say model or R square. Yes, so we can predicted, the strategic relationship with the suppliers which we have. Is you have the standard error estimates, the standard deviation, regression, residual, and the total sum of the square, degree of the frequency, mean. So these all we can use these. Yes, quality of the information sharing, what the average their coefficient or relationship, what is the beta, beta is the risk factor, normally known as t-testing. So these are different statistic tools, guys. No worries, because if you want to use just simple mean and mode, we can use it as well. Correlation, the relationship between two variables. Yeah, supply chain and the quality of information, the level of information, and strategic partnerships. Yeah. So these are the data we can draw the correlation between these. Is it positive, equal to one, less than one, or greater than one? So what is the relationship we have? So key consideration of the qualitative data, meaning how people see the world, context, the world in which the people act, and the process, the action, and the activity the people do, and the reasoning why the people act and behave the way which we can look around. Qualitative, quantitative is identify the themes being big pictures and list the themes, merge, coding the data, reduce the data to manageable form, often done by writing the notes on the card and sorting them. Treat the data to answer the open-ended questions. Are the data specific question? Assign the codes for the answer and record the critical notes. That is called crucial. Steps in the qualitative data analysis using Navio, yes, which is mean the project, starting the project, working with the qualitative data, working on the nodes. Nodes is like, it's a diagram in network diagram, each is the point. Coding the qualitative data, creating the project, creating the confidentiality, which we can look around confidential, preparing the document input, types of the nodes, creating nodes, using orders, yes, coding. These, can be used, and that is quite useful. Qualitative data, answer these four questions. What is important in data? Why it is important? What is learned from the data? Why we want to know the income group? Why we want to know about the age group? Why we want to know about the people liking and disliking? So that's really an interpretation depends on the perspective of the researcher. Which perspective? Why are you doing it? Like service quality, customer satisfaction, and the loyalty we want to. So we can look around, why we want to do it. So that is quite crucial. So we can look around the key consideration for the data interpretation. Focus on the analysis that answers your immediate research hypothesis research question. You want to test it. So it can also work the digger the deeper into your data. So we can look around the stock exchange trends. We can look around the buses coming on time, average, how many times they are late. So based on this, we can draw, so we have the flexibility, the time, if you're planning in terms of the time, yes, in terms of the income, like, per capita income, how much people and how much the people save, that all we can look around in those perspective. That is quite crucial, which we need to look around. So not uncommon for the supervisor to get the statistic wrong. we have to make sure, we have all the information in our. Yes, so how far to take the analysis? That is quite crucial, which we need to be. Okay, so that's all today. In the next lesson, we look around the reflection, how we can reflect. Before we move, look around the data, the source of data, which we can look around. To show you some reports. So if you're doing something about marketing and consumer, quite good to look around the report is called Mentor Reports, which is published a lot of on marketing reports on the customers. So if you want like beauty, fashion, finance category, we want to look around the food. So yes, so we can find some information, innovation in waiting around the clean, yes, nutrition, drink market, China salty snacks. Yes, so these are some of the reports you can access through library that's called mentor reports. It's absolutely free. I can download some. If you want to look around the website, it's called the Vista, and we want to, if you Google it, let's Google it and say mental health. So this food industries in UK I want to know about, and I want to get some facts and figures. So that's I can find how much worth, yeah. So I can locate the graphs, yeah. So how much the food market is worth of and growing. So that is quite useful data which can be used, and that can be look around in different perspective we can. And the data is already analysis, which we can present our finding based on the data. You can argue from various websites, and you can compare and contrast and evaluate, So that can be used. Anybody, any question? Okay, guys, so we'll keep up to here. Today's lesson, we discuss about how we can present the data. You can think about the means, mode, median, correlation, SPSS software, which I mentioned, and it's good to explore. And we can give you the manual if you want to learn those. It's quite good to be at this level. At least you have a basic understanding about, and we can add it some, already secondary data. Then interpretation of the data is very important. Depends on your research objective, what you want to achieve. Okay, thanks for attending, and hope I'll speak you during our next lesson, and which will go through reflection. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye.